Valheim has one of the best and most comprehensive modding communities of any game that I've ever really played. And though Valheim is pretty amazing, I think we all know that their updates are kind of spaced out, so we as players can kind of rely on those mods in the meantime. Recently I finished playing through every mod that me and my friends picked out at the beginning of the year, and I wanted to give my opinion on each one because it's every mod that I've ever really wanted to play in Valheim, which are the best, how they all fit together, and which ones work together, as well as how you guys can make an amazing mod pack for yourself. And I want to give you guys an opportunity to tell me which mod packs I'm missing, because I know I'll be missing some. That way I have stuff to play later and can review, and maybe I could do this again with the stuff that you guys recommend. And also, you guys should go check the comments, because I know that hundreds of you guys or thousands of you guys will have much more experience in mods than I as a single person could ever have. So with that, before we get started, I am currently trying to make it to 10,000 subscribers, and if you could help me get there, that would mean a lot to me, and thank you guys so much for watching. Now, I split these up into a couple of different categories of like main mods, ones that are a little bit smaller, and then ones that are more quality of life, as well as a couple of other categories at the end that you guys can find your own mods for, just because there's so many options for them. But to start, I wanted to go over the main mod packs that I've played. Now, these are big groups of mods that like pack together and work together, and most of the big mod packs in Valheim are modular, meaning you can take parts of it out or leave parts of it in, and it still works just fine. But these normally rely on a huge group of mods to work together, rather than just a single one to achieve the feel of the entire pack. Now, the number one that I would recommend for absolutely anybody is the Therzie mod pack. Now, Therzie has made a bunch of different mod packs that go through armor, different creatures, different biomes, adding the Deep North, adding the Ashlands before the Ashlands was there, adding new bosses to the game. And I've used them in 3 different modded playthroughs of this channel of the 5 that I've ever done. This mod pack consists of an entire new armor system that allows you the opportunity to upgrade one set throughout the game rather than just keep making new sets every time. It adds a good amount of creatures to each biome. It's not enough to change the entire biome, but it's plenty to change the scenery and add a little bit of a different challenge to each biome. On top of this, it fills a lot of gaps where weapons are missing from Valheim. There are a lot of biomes in Valheim that for some reason are just missing weapons that you may have been building a skill in all game, and this mod adds both those, it adds boss weapons, and it adds other types of weapons that are normally just not in Valheim. As far as criticisms for this mod, I really wish there was a boss stone or a way to locate the bosses that are added from this mod pack, because other than the Deep North ones and the Deep North extension of it, there really isn't. There's a couple of bosses in the first 3 biomes for this mod pack, and while they don't play a huge role in the mod pack itself, I really wish that you could find them or have some sort of like boss stone for them to locate them. That way you could actually do them as part of your playthrough, because right now it's kind of just luck of the draw do you come across it. But this is probably one of the best ones for someone who's newer to mod Valheim, or to serve as a really good base for a more complicated mod pack. The second main mod pack that I have played is RTD. Now, RTD is the most content-full out of all of the mods that I have ever played. This is also the one that changes Valheim the most from the base state. Now, I use this mod for one full playthrough, and it has changed quite a bit from what I've played, and I've heard a lot of people say that a lot of different things have changed, but that the main feel of it is still the same. So if you guys go back and watch me play it, understand that it may be a little bit different. But when I played it, it had 17 bosses, a full Deep North, new weapons, armor systems, and almost an entire second tier to each biome. So you could do the Black Forest through Elder, and then you could re-get more stuff and go for the other boss that was in that same, and that was also in the Black Forest. It's absolutely insane how much it adds. RTD, just like the Therzie mods, are split into a bunch of smaller mods, so that you can pick what parts of the mod you want and what parts you don't. This is by far the longest mod pack I have ever played through, as even when on a fairly forgiving like world settings and modifiers, it still took me 250 days to get through the whole pack, and I was trying to get through it. I was not really taking my time like you could. As far as the downsides to this mod pack, like I said, I've heard a lot of talk about changes being made where whole mods become obsolete and the entire system within a mod changes. In my opinion, things like this should be made into new mods and not be changing the old ones that people are already enjoying, but that's obviously up to the mod author. So that's the only thing that I can say that I've heard bad about this mod pack and that I've had a little bit of problems with. Now, those are the only 2 main mod packs that I've talked about. Also, when I say Therzie mods, that is the author. I know I've been putting them on screen, but just if you guys are on any sort I use R2Modman to get into my mods, and I assume most people do because it's, from what I've seen, the most common one. But Therzie is a mod author, so if you search Therzie, you may not necessarily find it. But all of these will be in the description, so if you guys want to go look from down there, I'll have them listed by the author, and you guys can see each one. Now, the next group of these, because those are the two big Valheim mod packs that I've played and that I've relied on. Now, the next group of these mods are mod packs that can be played on their own, but they really work good when they're in a pack combined with a bunch of other ones, or maybe one of the big main mod packs, or maybe you combine a bunch of these smaller ones into one, or maybe you just want to add a little bit of flair to a world, but not change the entire feel of Valheim completely. The number one, and I just got done playing this, is EpicLoot. I just played through this for the first time the other day and just finished a video on it, and it almost could have been in the main mods territory of greatness, but it is a single mod. EpicLoot adds an entire new loot drop and item enchanting system that involves farming bosses and other creatures to gain magical crafting materials used to enchant and augment craftable weapons and armor that you can make within the game, or you can find them from the drop system of maybe the random chance that a boss or a creature drops the thing that you're looking to craft. And on top of this, it works with most mods pretty well, as it just adds the enchantment effects on top of the weapon, meaning that I have not seen a mod that it doesn't work with. And while the drop system can be a little bit of a different story, it is still an amazing thing. Like I said, it fits really well with a bunch of mods. The only thing that I have found wrong with EpicLoot is that sometimes I feel like if you combined it with a whole bunch of mods, it would feel like a bit much. That's kind of my last experience with it, because I put it in with way too many other mod packs, but really that's kind of true with any mods, that if you pack too many of them in there, that it's just going to feel like too much. So other than that, I really didn't find anything wrong with EpicLoot. It was really fun. Number 2 is CreatureLevelAndLootControl. Now, this mod adds a fairly basic and easy to understand principle, not too much extra content, but man does it add to a mod pack. This mod allows you to add and customize creature spawns in your world, and allow you to raise the difficulty of base Valheim or mods. This mod gives you a ton of options for adding stars, meaning creatures can spawn up to whatever you put it at, but the highest is 5 stars around your world. They can spawn with magical infusions and crazy attributes that make them much more difficult to deal with, and can create a different challenge every time you see a new creature in your world. And they spawn everything like that, including modded variants, bosses, and anything else that you guys could think of. And this has been present in, I'm pretty sure, almost every mod pack playthrough on this channel. The only downside to this mod is that sometimes having it turned up too high, or putting it with a mod pack that's already difficult like RTD, can make the entire pack pretty infuriating at some points, but that's more of a skill issue than an overall mod problem. And this is a great way to even make a base Valheim playthrough feel very modded. The way that the creatures spawn, all of the different types of things that you can see, just add a lot of difference to the world. That kind of gets rid of the same feeling that you get every time you fight a Valheim mob, because they are literally almost all different. Number 3 is the Valheim Seasons mod. The Seasons mod adds different world effects that happen in turn with the seasons that shift every 10 days. These seasons do a lot. They do things like changing the length of the day. They change your rested modifier, so you rest more during the spring than you do in the winter. They add seasonal crafting options that are normally not available unless it is actually that time of year for Valheim. So how you can make the Yule tree during wintertime and the maypole during summertime, you get that throughout the modded year rather than the real life year. And it even does a whole bunch of things with the actual world. All of the trees change colors, and even the water freezes solid partway through the winter. And Seasons is a great mod to add a bit, again, just a bit of flair, just a bit of extra stuff on top of a regular mod pack. The only complaint that I have about Seasons is that sometimes particles from this mod cause problems with performance when it's combined with other mods. But again, that's kind of something you're just going to run into with mods. They may cause performance issues, but other than that, it's an insane way to make your world feel like it's just a little bit more alive. Number 4 in the add-ons is the Almanac. Now, the Almanac mod is one that I've only used twice, but it is a really awesome thing to add to even a vanilla Valheim playthrough. Pretty much all it adds is a really good character and stat tracking system for anything you could imagine. Damage done, structures placed, character deaths, anything like that. Just a whole bunch of stats. Tells you exactly how many you've done on that character, and you can even put that on a character that's already existed, and it will be able to read most, if not all, of those stats from it. On top of that, it adds like small achievements, some treasure hunts, some creature bounties, and honestly just a bunch of stuff for a little bit of extra fun. But it's a really cool thing to add to a mod pack, especially a really difficult one, so you can see how much you suffered throughout it. Number 5 is Riverheim. Riverheim does something very, very subtle to the world, but it makes a big difference. It makes continents bigger, oceans a little bit smaller, and rivers make more sense as they actually work their way through the continents. And it also allows for much more dramatic terrain, like really big tall mountain, complete ranges, almost like volcano shapes in the middle of them, and just a bunch of different crazy things that you would not see just running around Valheim, because Valheim has so many constraints with the way that stuff can spawn, and this just kind of loosens them a little bit. It makes it a bit more of an adventure, a bit more difficult to get across certain areas, but it just changes the look of your world, kind of like Seasons. It doesn't do anything that's really, really big change, but that small change can make a lot of really cool building spots. It can make for a really cool adventure because you could be on the same continent like halfway across the map. And honestly, in my opinion, it's another one of the mods that could just be added into a vanilla playthrough or an otherwise vanilla playthrough. And it just gives so many little opportunities for exploration and building that you wouldn't always get or get guaranteed in a normal Valheim playthrough. The only problem with this mod pack is that some Deep North packs, like the Therzie Fire and Ice, clash with Riverheim and kind of break the game to where the Deep North doesn't really work. So if you are using this mod, try and keep anything else that would mess with the terrain generation out of the pack. Number 6 is more world locations. This mod, again, very simple, but it takes the base idea that Valheim has of abandoned structures throughout all of the different biomes in Valheim that spawn creatures and loot, and it adds an absolute shit ton of new options for the game to spawn as prefab structures. A lot of them have unique loot that normal structures don't always drop, different types of food, different types of just weapons, a bunch of coins, and they're all like, some of them are little puzzles, some of them are just like cool to look at in your world, and some of them have spawners in them. It's insane, and there's so many different unique loot and like configurations. It's really good for adventure type mod packs, or one where I like doing it when I'm playing alone in my world. It kind of just makes it feel like there's other people there. It makes it feel like the server's been there forever. This pack specifically adds 119 more points of interest to be exact, meaning there's a good chance that even if you did multiple playthroughs, you might not see all of them. And number 7 is Valheim Plus. Now, Valheim Plus is honestly the most vanilla mod out there and is just a bunch of things that I think everybody wishes Valheim had in the base game added to the game. It adds configuration for everything. The player's inventory size, inventory for things like chests, carts, boats. You can alter things like smelting speed and how much storage kilns and smelters have, as well as like a blast furnace or anything else like that. On top of this, you can change some of the base game stats like ITER and stamina base, as well as regen, and stuff like how long do boss effects last, how long is the cooldown between them. You can just change all of the little things in Valheim that most other games allow you to configure, especially when you're doing something like a server, and I wish Valheim just had that in its core. The only problem with Valheim Plus is that it is not compatible with a lot of other mods, making it very situational, but again, really good for an otherwise vanilla playthrough or kind of setting up a server with your friends. If you don't want to do a whole bunch of mods, this is a really good one. And this one does work with a lot of the smaller mods, meaning the only ones I've had problems with it is like the 2 main mod packs that I mentioned at the beginning. Now we're going to move to smaller mods and building mods. Now, honestly, I could have tried more of these if I'm being 100%, but the ones that I did try were really amazing, and I tried to try them to their fullest extent, actually use a bunch of pieces in them. And some of these aren't just building ones, but some of them are just little things that just alter maybe one little piece of Valheim, but they don't do a whole bunch. But sometimes that altered piece makes your Valheim feel a lot better, or maybe it's something that you guys have just been like, Valheim should just add this. Again, some stuff that people just want in the game is just there. The first one in these smaller mods is a building mod called MissingPieces. Now this just adds all of the little missing building pieces that would be right to make something like a symmetrical base, or all of the little things, so like upside down half walls that have the little like stripe across it at the top, little roof pieces that are missing, all of the little things that Valheim is technically missing in their building menu that would make it a little bit nicer to build is in MissingPieces. Next up is Odin Ships Plus. Now this one is a little bit bigger. I honestly probably could have put this in the add-ons, but that's okay. Odin Ship Plus adds like 13 different types of boats and a new crafting station that allows you to just have more options for boats, or even if you're not going to drive them around the world, damn do they look good at a base. And there are all sorts of different sizes, all sorts of different looks and styles. Some of them have ballistas, some of them have like sleeping areas, some of them, they're just crazy, but they just add such, I don't know, they add such a better feeling than the base boats in Valheim that make them feel like you're on a Viking ship, and it's especially fun with friends when you guys all have your own ships running around the world. Then we have Odin Architect. Now this one adds, again, a bunch of little missing building pieces, but this one adds a bunch of other stuff too. There's different types of textures with stone, different types of textures and designs with like wood flooring and ceilings, and then there's also giant versions of almost everything in the game, making it so you can build absolutely humongous things. And then on top of that, they added things like giant archways, giant pillars, and a couple of other of their own creative assets that also give you a little bit more options when building something. But I have found for giant structures that this is one of the best mods if you like to build big. The next two are kind of going to work together, but in my opinion, I wouldn't do one without the other, but they are separate mods. One of them is Quick Teleport. This allows you, when you hit a portal, if that part of the world is already loaded, then you can just kind of click through it really fast. But aside from that, when you go through or into dungeons, caves, anything like that where you have to load through a barrier, it kind of just gets rid of that. You kind of just quick teleport into caves, into troll caves, into like swamp crypts, anything like that, you just quick teleport into them. And it feels really nice, and it gets rid of that nice little, like that kind of animation when you're going into all of them. On top of that, I have target portals. Now, target portals allows you to set up a portal system, and rather than having a pair of portals for every spot you'd like to go, you only need one at your base, and they can open a map that allows you to click any of the other portals on the map that you'd like to go through. It's really nice because if you're playing with friends, you can all have them set to private so that not everybody can just come to your base, but at the same time, you can set other areas public so that way, you know, maybe you guys can have a community hub, but also all your own base with your own portal map that allows you to get to different places that not everybody can go to. The only problem with this one is sometimes I have found that you cannot disable that. Like, if you use this mod, if you use target portals, most of the time people are going to be able to take metal through portals. If you don't like that, it has a setting to turn it off. It doesn't always work, not at least in my experience. So that's the only thing. But realistically, I use target portals with really difficult mod packs, and normally at that point in time, I'm not worried about if I can teleport metal or not. By far, one of the craziest building mod packs that I have ever seen is Distant Dynasties. It adds a bunch of different styles of building, all sorts of cabinets, like food items, like trophies and furniture and all sorts of crazy stuff, and it's all just in its own little scroll that you can build, and once you build the scroll you get access to all of it, and all of them are fairly cheap and affordable building things. Some of these building mod packs have such expensive furniture, and I'm not saying there aren't some things like that in Distant Dynasties, but most of them are like 1 or 2 wood for like a chair or something like that, and it allows you to really decorate your base without spending a shit ton of time gathering resources. By far, one of my favorite ones on this list, and especially for a harder mod pack, is One More Meal. One More Meal just allows you to eat one more thing. It allows you to have 4 foods inside your Valheim character. Honestly, I mean, again, something I wish Valheim would just give you the option for. My opinion or reasoning is because you could have 2 health, a stamina, and an iter food, but I guess you can also have 4 health foods, which I've done plenty of times throughout these packs. But if you're dealing with a really difficult mod pack, or even just one that offers more food options, it's nice to be able to eat more of them. So that one gives you the option to. Plant Everything. I think I've used it in every mod pack. If I haven't, I should have. Plant Everything just allows you to take all the plants in the game that are not always harvestable, but that technically regrow, like cloudberry or all types of berries, fiddleheads, literally anything like that, thistle, mushrooms, and you can plant them at your base rather than just having to go back to the same spot in 20 in-game days when they respawn. And it does make the game a little bit easier, but you can having the ability to build like bushes and all sorts of stuff like that around your base, cloudberry bushes, fiddleheads, it kind of allows you to decorate your base a little bit better on top of actually having a functional use. And again, I don't know that I'll really play without it, even though I don't use it in every mod pack like a lot. It's just nice to have the option if you want it. No Smoke, Stay Lit. This is the only mod pack that I use in all of my vanilla ones, other than another one that I'm going to bring up here in a second. But if you are building and you have a lot of lighting in your base, you need this mod pack. Now, it gets rid of the smoke and it allows everything to always stay lit. Now, you can, in its configuration, determine what that means, because maybe you don't want ovens always lit, or maybe you always want kilns lit. You can do all sorts of stuff like that, and you can add the smoke back in if you want, but it by default gets rid of it. And it kind of just makes it so that all of your builds, say you have thousands of torches in your build and you don't want to just go around refilling them with resin all day, it kind of just allows you to have them, which I think is really nice. The other one that I always use in all of my videos, even if it's not a modded video, is Day and Time in HUD. Now, this one isn't crazy unless you're doing content creation, but it is just for content creation purposes. It allows you guys, from your point of view, to see how long it's taken me to do something. You guys can keep track of my time, and it makes it so that you guys can understand how much time I've truly spent between things. When I say, oh, I was gone for an hour, yeah, 2 Valheim days passed. I was actually gone for an hour. But then if I say I was gone for 10 hours and only 2 Valheim days have passed, you might know that I'm exaggerating a little bit. So kind of just gives more transparency on videos. And again, while it's not the thing that everybody wants to use, it's really nice for content creation, and I use it in all of my playthroughs, even the ones that are not modded. And the last one in these smaller mods is Plant Easily. This is one that I had just tried out in my last mod pack, but it allows you to plant stuff in a grid shape, meaning that you don't have to just go and plant 100 times. You don't have to go click 100 times and try and space your flax all out. It just plants the whole grid of them, and then there you go. And if you don't have enough to do the entire grid, it just places what it can. Honestly, again, I get why Valheim as a base game doesn't have it, but it feels so nice to have it that I don't know that I'll ever really go back after trying it. Another one that I forgot, I just realized it's not on the list, but it is very fun. It can be a little overpowered, but it's still fun, is dual wield. It just allows you to dual wield certain types of weapons if you want to in your world. So say you want 2 maces, you can build 2 maces and carry them. Forgot about that one. Like I said, it is a bit overpowered in a lot of senses, but it is really fun to have. And again, if you've never played Valheim modded, it's a fun little one to just throw in there. After all of these mods is the true just quality of life ones, and there's a couple smaller missing ones, but really the best way to give you guys, like, aside from a couple of really specific ones, is to give you guys what things you should be looking for in a mod. So for me, quality of life, the biggest one that I recently just found was trash items. Trash items allows you to actually throw away stuff with a key that you set in the configuration. I think by default it's delete, but you can actually throw items away rather than just throw them on the ground and hope they despawn eventually. On top of that, for a mod author that you should be looking for quality of life, look for Azumat. Azumat makes a ton of really amazing mods that just help fix anything you want to do. If you want to, it's pretty much like what I talked about with Valheim Plus, but all in a bunch of like modular ones that you can add or take out, enable or disable, and just configure the absolute shit out of. Keep it just like you can do anything you want with your character's bases in those worlds, or change any type of quality of life thing, any type of little tweak you need in your game. Look, that is who you're looking for as far as the mods go. Now on top of that, there's a ton of different inventory expansion mods, chest expansion mods, all the stuff that I pretty much talked about in Valheim Plus, that if you guys are going to make a really big mod pack, you should definitely look into. There's backpack mods, there's all sorts of different stuff like that, but really that one is more what works with your mod pack and which one you guys come to love, rather than a specific one that you need. So, say you've never played Valheim modded before, how do you actually build a good mod pack out of these? Well, I'll tell you, you don't want to put all of them in at once. And honestly, less is more for you getting to enjoy the mod packs. If you guys want to build a really long-lasting mod pack, my best advice is to take one of the main mod packs, either the Therzie or the RTD, or maybe even none of them, add a couple of the small ones, maybe add CreatureLevelAndLootControl, add some seasons to it, and then do some of the other smaller ones. Add maybe you want Odin Architect and Distant Dynasties for a little bit of building stuff. Maybe you want one more meal because you want to make it difficult. But those smaller mods and all of the quality of life mods are kind of just to dial in the feel of your mod pack. Maybe you made it a little too hard, so you add one more meal. Maybe you're doing more building than you thought, so you add the building mods. Maybe you realize you don't want to build a portal room, or you have a whole bunch of people on the server and you want to use target portals. Maybe you realize you have a building with a bunch of lighting and you want to use no smoke, stay lit. All of the little ones like that are kind of just to dial in your mod pack to make it feel the absolute best for you. But the thing that I would not recommend is taking all of these and putting them into one. It's too much. You definitely can overmod Valheim and make it not enjoyable, and while it might be funny at first, doing an actual playthrough with it would be incredibly hellish, and I cannot imagine putting RTD and the Therzie mod packs together with EpicLoot. I feel like that would just be way too much. So that is my recommendation for how I would do it. If you guys want to see what my actual dream mod pack is, or putting all of my favorite mod packs into one, I just got done doing that the other day, and it will be linked above right now, as well as in the description if you guys want to check that out. Please, like I said, let me know which ones I missed, let me know which one you guys have as a favorite, and let me know if if I got anything wrong about these, because right now I am making my 2026 mod list, and I need all of the different mods that I want to try out, all of the different ones I want to make videos on, and all of the different mod packs that I'd like to make. So let me know what you guys want me to play with, let me know which ones I'm missing out on, and let me know if you guys have any opinions about these mod packs. If you guys want to save some people in the comments, say if you've had any problems with these, say if you've had anything like that. Let's save each other as a community, because, you know, it would suck to get to the end of a world and lose it because nobody told you about something with the mod pack. With that being said, I think that's going to be it. It's a bit of a shorter video, a bit of a different video, but I feel like after a year of playing modded Valheim, I kind of owed the community something towards all of the experience that I've gotten in building mod packs and all of my different experiences testing them out. As I mentioned at the beginning, I'm currently trying to make it to 10,000 subscribers, and if you guys could help me get there, that would mean so much to me. Let me know if you guys have any feedback, and thank you guys so much for watching. I truly hope you enjoyed, and I will see you guys next time. Peace out.